Hello, everyone. This is a presentation on information cascade by Group2. Next. So what is an information cascade? An information cascade is a group of people making the same decision in a sequential fashion without verbal communication based simply on the actions of others they respect, ignoring their own personal knowledge. Next. How do cascades form? An information cascade forms when people act on the beliefs of others instead of questioning the cause of those beliefs. This ends up strengthening those initial beliefs to a degree not warranted by any evidence. Cascades form when people conform to the viewpoint of others in contrast to their own personal beliefs and knowledge. Next. So what are examples of good and bad cascades? Well, an example of a good cascade is when you go to see a movie simply because everyone you know has seen it and they're raving about it. Another example of a good cascade is when corporate management tries to disseminate information about policies to the staff through various sub-levels of management. Examples of bad cascades. The first one would be buying an overvalued stock just because you don't want to miss out on it based on some market guru's actions. Another example of a bad cascade is the policy or procedure used by Facebook to feed you posts and blogs based on an algorithm where the algorithm thinks that you're going to agree with those posts and blogs. The downside of this is that you might think the entire world agrees with you when you could be in the minority.
Thanks, Richard. I'll take over here and do a quick comparison between information cascades and something it's frequently compared to, which is peer pressure. And the reason they're compared frequently is because they do share some similarities. The real main similarity is that they are both based off of asymmetrical information, meaning that someone is going to make a decision based off of the group preference when they potentially could be making a different decision if it was only up to them. But there are some important differences between cascades and peer pressure. The main one is that information cascades are based off of willful ignorance and really just what researchers call purely imitative behavior, while peer pressure can actually be a result of a lack of information. Next. When we apply these differences to a course concept of game theory, it becomes a little bit more clear. While both information cascades and peer pressure have maybe the same players and immediate actions and rationality or lack thereof and information, where they diverge is the fact that in an information cascade, the strategy also really remains narrow, whatever someone did right before you. While with peer pressure, that strategy can actually include a number of things as new information comes online. Because of that, an information cascade could be considered a static game, while peer pressure could be considered a dynamic game or a more dynamic game. Next. When we apply these differences to a common case, which is Zipcar, we notice that a company like Zipcar, which took off very quickly in Boston with urbanites who are environmentally conscious, that is an example of peer pressure. People saw the value of the company and people like them adopting that service. But it wasn't an information cascade, because if new information was included, like maybe a better service like an Uber, people weren't irrationally just joining Zipcar because of the person in front of them.
Thanks, David. So cascade can be exploited in marketing. One of the things that companies do is to initiate the cascades. Generally, in a common world, cascades initiated by word of mouth from one person to another person and a group of people. But companies can act as a catalyst by using advertising, social media, Facebook, Instagram, loyalty programs where you have a membership with certain benefits, and people with membership would go and talk to their friends and families. companies come up with discount events and spread the word of mouth and basically make an information cascading. And all these things are basically done for companies to generate more revenues, more sales, and sometimes it's done only just to get the brand information out in the market. The strategies that are used by companies to initiate a cascading and to gather the information for initiating the cascading is based on the previous analytical research. Bayes rule is one of the algorithms that is used to measure the probability of an event happening in future based on an event that happened in the past. Companies also employ observational research, biometric research, virtual shopping carts, where they basically try to figure out how to place the products in shelves in a store to generate the most curiosity and start the cascading information. Basic bottom line is, as we saw in the BMW movies case, the word of mouth can be very powerful and can really impact the bottom line of a company, and it's a very useful marketing tool. So far, we have seen the information about cascading, the definition, the examples of good and bad. We have seen what exactly is not cascading by the zip car example, and also how it ties back to the game's theory. The features that are really helpful for the companies are the marketing tools that comes out of it and generates the revenue. Thank you.